Public benefit organization leaders are meeting in Nairobi for the second national summit to have a policy dialogue ahead of the general elections. And Andrew Ochieng has been following proceedings there and he joins me live. Andrew, is there anything new since we last spoke?
Well, thank you, Trevor. What has been happening is that the several CSOs had split into groups to discuss some of the relevant issues, some of the key issues that affect non-governmental organizations. And the one which I sat in was discussing matters to do with financing. And given that the government has been uncomfortable with the PBOs receiving a lot of their financing from international donors, I remember one of the amendments to the PBO Act indicated that any organization that receives more than 15% of its financing will be labeled as an international organization. So in this sitting, they were looking at ways of raising funds, probably from local avenues, probably from businesses and from the local community that support their activities, and how they can sort of create awareness within the community that these organizations need support. Because at the moment, more than 70% of the financing for the PBOs come from international donors. So probably that is one of the things that has come up since we last spoke. They have gone for lunch now, but they will be coming back in the afternoon for an afternoon session. But one of the things that stood out for me was the hashtag that the summit has been running with, not going back to the 1990s again. And I'm joined now by the programs director for SID, Mr. Orwa Michael. Please explain to me this hashtag, not going back to the 1990s. What is this about? It seems like the PBOs are very angry at something. What is wrong?
I wouldn't say, thank you, I wouldn't say it is anger. It's more actually the hashtag captures kind of the apprehension that's ongoing in the sector right now. The meeting today was partly to address the kind of tensions that have emerged over past couple of months between the state, or perceived tensions between the state and the sector. And the hashtag not 1990s again is actually comes from the feeling within a good majority of the sector that given the uncertain policy environment and the perception that the state is anti the sector, maybe we need to actually caution ourselves, have conversation around where the relationship between the state and the civil society organizations is headed. And it's also anchored on the fact that the current law that is guiding the sector is a 1990s NGOs Coordination Act. And the 1990s and today, is, you would agree, is a way long period. 1990, we were just coming out of the single party rule. We are getting into a multi-party democracy. We are also coming from a space of significant state repression. And beyond that, we've had, since President Kibaki assented to it, the Public Benefit Organizations Act, which was a law that brought together the state, non-state actors and development partners for a period of more than 4 years to bring a legal framework that would make the sector significantly self-regulating, accountable and transparent, not just to itself and to the donors, but also to the government of the day. President Kibaki signed that law into that bill into law in January 2013 before he left office. Between 2013 and now, it's been almost nuclear rocket science to actually get this commenced. So consistently, between 2003 up to now, the sector has been pushing the government, the cabinet secretary in charge of the parent ministry, which was once devolution and now has recently been moved to internal security, to actually commence the act. That's been between the signing it into law and the time when the commencement happened. There's been significant effort by the government to amend the law before or without commencing it, and the sector has felt that there has to be a goodwill, because this was a law that took a lot of years across sectors, government input, non-government, donors and development partners, and therefore the government should demonstrate goodwill to implement it and allow us to operate within that environment. That did not happen. Lucky enough, CSQ Injury commenced it, and then immediately there was, again, while we were just about to celebrate and say finally we can put the sector into order, be more accountable, streamline it with the Vision 2030, again the government stepped back again, and then we've moved into the internal security. So part of the hashtag is actually a concern that are we securitizing the sector, and to what extent is the sector a national security threat, to demand the shift from devolution as a parent ministry to internal security.
So there you go, Trevor, some of the issues that have come up during the PBO summit, just the sort of apprehension that exists right now between the civil society and the national government, and the insecurities that the government seems to have towards the civil society, given that it has not enacted the PBO Act, and given some of the restrictive measures it has been putting against non-governmental organizations.